Alright, Brush Monkeys, we are back, and this week we're starting in on the next Raging Heroes Daughters of the Crucible figure. This is going to be Sister Double Dose Misericordia, and she looks pretty spectacular already. You can see she's got a lot of detail on her. She's got the rosaries and the fabric hanging down from her gun. She's got a sword across her back. So, I'll be painting her similar to the other Sisters or Daughters of the Crucible. I've got my paint scheme all planned out here, and I've got my paints selected. And this will be the, some of you may remember a few months back I did an unboxing and initial review of this Redgrass Games 360 painting handle, which you can pop the top off and swap between different figures. This is actually the first figure I've painted with this thing. Now, you may be wondering why there's been close to 6-7 months between when I did the unboxing review and when I actually start using it. It's because all the videos between now and then were done months ago. During the quarantine lockdown, I had a lot of time to do a lot of painting, and so I did a lot of videos. And I finished the entire year's worth of videos in the 4 months that I was locked down. So, yeah, even though 4 months of videos have passed between now and then, it's actually only been a couple of weeks since I did the unboxing review. And the reason I waited that long is because we're having work done on our basement, having some foundation work done. My shop was a mess and I didn't have access to it. So, but now I'm back at my shop. I'm back at the painting desk. Everything's set up. It's all good to go. And I'm ready to take this puppy for a spin. And I can tell you from a practical standpoint already, this little, the little Redgrass disc that's on my painting table here is a little metal disc with double-sided tape that sticks it to it. And it works with a magnet on the bottom of this thing. You can just slide that on there. Keeps it from falling over, which is really nice. I really like that aspect of it. The thing is, that is a really, really strong magnet on there. And I found that if I just go to put it on there, see, it pulls up the mat. So I kind of have to slide it off and slide it on rather than just putting it down, which is a little weird. It's going to take a little getting used to. But I do like that over the Citadel handles. Well, first of all, this thing fits in my hand kind of about the same. It's a little nicer. I find that with the Citadel handles, I have to turn the whole handle. With this one, I just have to turn this little top part here. And I can do that with my fingers and thumbs and just spin it every which way to get it to line up right. Also, I can paint the base band using this, which I can't with the Citadel handle because it grips onto the base band. So, that's my first impressions. Like I said, I haven't actually tried painting with this yet, but I'm going to now. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this off and get at least the skin tones down, possibly some of the little base tones down on the rest of it. And then we'll come back and take a look at her, see how she looks. Alright? Alright, see you soon. Bye. Alright, Brush Monkey, so I'm back, and I have based in the colors on her already, done based the skin and the black, the red, the little bit of white on her wimple there, and she's looking pretty good so far. I'm actually pretty happy with how she did. I did shade wash the skin too. That's why it looks a little bit blotchy, because I'm going to go back and once the shade wash dries, I'll go back and smooth that out a little bit. But she looks pretty good. I'm really happy with how she looks. I like this. Black still needs to dry a little bit. I really like this handle, being able to turn it everywhere I need to. It also kind of helps get a decent view of the thing. On the sword here, I'm going to go with purple on the sword hilt, and then gold for the metal parts, and then black and steel for the blade, same as the gun shroud on her there. And then the rosary, of course, is going to be gold. I've got some contrast paints out, the gray sear and the snakebite leather for her pistol and belt there, and the gun itself is going to be done in Black Templar contrast paint. But first we're going to layer up that skin a couple more times. I've got, I based it in Vallejo Model Color Tan Earth, and I'm going to layer it in Cork Brown, and then a little bit of Iraqi sand for highlights. And that comes out to a really nice kind of Hispanic skin tone. These are all supposed to be Hispanic nuns with guns. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked with how she's coming out so far. I think she's going to look really nice when I get her done. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pause now and let that dry, and then we'll come back and layer the skin and look at doing some highlights on the black probably. I'm going to do the highlights in Eshin Gray. That's about the darkest black I've got, or the darkest gray I've got. Make sure I get the right one here. Yeah. This is Eshin Gray. So I'm going to do the highlights in that, and then I will probably go back over the whole thing in Nuln Oil, and I'm going to do Nuln Oil around her eye sockets too to give her kind of that smoky eye look. Probably the same time I do the, I'm going to do her lips in Brown Rose, like I did the others. And I think she's going to look really nice. I've also been test driving these two, a number 0 and a 10-aught round from Plaid. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, China. Chinese made synthetic brushes. I bought a pack of brushes because I thought for another project that I thought I was going to need to spread the cement around, because I didn't have any fine point applicators for cement, and then it turns out the cement comes with a decent applicator on it for what I needed, so I didn't need the brushes. So now I've got a bunch of just like throwaway nylon brushes. So I just add them to the brush cup, and I was just kind of testing them out to see how they do before I delve into my really good brushes. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and take a little break here and let that dry, and then we'll come back and layer up her skin. Right, see you soon. Bye. Okay, we are back, and we have done all kinds of stuff on this girl. Finished up the face, did the shade washing in the eye sockets, painted the lips, highlighted the skin. I think the skin's not looking too bad. I painted the sword hilt and highlighted it with a little bit of the Luscious Lilac. It's a dry paint, but I didn't dry brush it on there. I just layered it on with the brush, and I think it might be a little bit stark, so I think what I may do later, once it's had a chance to dry, is shade it down with a little bit of the Druki Violet. I think that'll tone down that bright lilac highlight, as well as bring out a little definition in the rest of the purple. I also went over the gun belt with, I decided to go with the Wraithbone base for the contrast paints instead of the Great Seer, because I wanted it to be a little warmer for the leather, snakebite leather. I also highlighted her boot and her habit here with Eshin Gray. If that looks a little bit stark, I'm not too worried about it. Eshin Gray is one of those paints that dries a lot darker than it goes on, and if it still looks a little stark after it's had a chance to dry, I can always tone it down a little bit with the Nuln Oil wash. Just give it a thin wash and tone that down a little bit. I still have the metallics to do, I still have the contrast paints to do, but she's coming along really well. I got kind of, if it'll zoom in there, I got the habit painted, got her cleavage all layered up. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. I even got the reds highlighted in the inside of the habit and the inside of the fabric hanging from her gun, and they look pretty good. Again, I used Mephiston red for that highlight, and again, it looks really bright, but it'll tone down a little bit as it dries. It literally just went on. But yeah, I think so far so good. Sister Misericordia here is coming along pretty nicely. So I'm going to take another break, and then when I come back I will do the contrast paints, and then we'll do the metallics, and I think we'll probably call this young lady done before too long. So, right. I'm also learning as I go along that this little disc on the thing here is going to be a little bit of a learning curve, learning to slide the handle onto it instead of putting it down, because I don't know how many times I've gone to put it down and almost knocked over all the paints there, because like I said, the magnet's really strong and it wants to lift the mat up. So there's a little bit of a learning curve with that, but I think it'll be alright. So like I said, I'm going to go ahead and take a break here. I'm going to do the contrast paints, and since they are essentially washes, I'm going to let those dry, and then we'll come back and take a look at those, see how those look, and then we'll start in on the metallics, and then probably come close to calling this girl done. Alright, so I will see you soon. Bye. Alright, I'm back, and as you can see, I've got the gun painted, and I've got the pistol and gun belt on her painted, or leathers painted. I also went ahead and did the shade washing on the sword hilt. I think that came out really nice. I think that toned down the lilac enough and still gave some definition to the different layers of purple. It still looks quite a bit brighter on the camera than it does in person, and so does her habit. The Eshin Gray did dry darker. I also washed it with Nuln Oil, so it's a little darker still, and it looks more black in person. What you're seeing is a reflection of the lights off of it, and once I get some matte seal down on that, it's going to tone that down even more. But she is looking pretty good so far. I just got done primering another project in my shop, so the fumes are a little bit much. So despite the fact that those contrast paints are dry, I'm going to go ahead and take a little break here and let the fumes clear out of my shop, and then we'll come back and do the metallics in a little bit. Alright, so I will see you then. Bye. Alright, brush monkeys, Our Lady here is coming along really nicely. I've got all the metallics on her base, on her gun, and her rosary done. I'm going to try to get this to zoom in a little bit better so I can see what it is. There we go. Now I also decided that when I painted the hilt gold, if I painted the Ricasso gold, there was going to be kind of a lot of gold on the hilt, and a little more than I wanted on this character. And for those of you that aren't familiar with swords, the Ricasso is this part right here, and it's usually a wrap around. It's usually not part of the hilt itself. Here's a cross piece, and then this is usually a separate piece that's wrapped around the blade to give a little leverage for two-handing the sword. And it's usually leather, so I decided to go ahead and paint it. I gave it a base coat of Wraithbone and then painted it with the snakebite leather to kind of give her a leather Ricasso there. And yeah, other than that, the blade looks good. I'm going to have to touch up a little bit of the metallic got on the dress there. But the gold's looking good. For some reason I can remember to turn this base while I'm showing off the figure, but when I'm painting I still have a tendency to turn the whole handle because I'm still used to the Games Workshop way of doing this, the Games Workshop handle. But I'm slowly getting used to it. The excuse me a second here. The damn it. Everything wants to fight me today. So yeah, the metallics are still kind of wet and what have you, but I'm going to give them a little chance to dry. The ones on the base here, I'm going to go ahead and give that a coat of Agrax Earthshade. And of course this base band is painted. I got a little bit on the handle here, but that's okay. Oh, that comes off really easily. That's nice. Okay. I was not expecting it to come off the handle that easily. So I got a little bit of paint on the handle, but I got the base band done, and so I'm going to go ahead and put the metallic on there once it dries, and I'm going to shade wash that, and then layer up those golds so they're all nice and shiny. And then she's getting real close to being done. So I'm pretty happy with that so far. I'm going to go ahead and pause here and let that finish drying. And then we'll layer up the golds, and when I come back next time, she'll be just about finished. Alright, see you soon. Bye. Alright, brush monkeys, I am calling double dose Misericordia here done. You see her golds are all highlighted, her hilt's all highlighted, the base is all dirty, the base band has been done up with the metallic dragon scale wax, so it's all finished. And I have found that this little handle here is massively useful for matte sealing these figures, because I can just keep the can going back and forth and just turn the base like that, and it's done. She's all matte sealed up. So I'm going to go ahead and peel her off of here. Alright. Oh, okay. Alright, the little sticky stuff got a little stringy there. Not sure what's up with that. Not wild about it, but whatever. Alright. So that's back to normal. I'm going to pop that one off. And our next one for next week is going to be Sister Paquita Baby. She's going to be the next one. And since they all use kind of the same color palette, I'm just going to go ahead and leave these paints out. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call Sister Double Dose Misericordia here finished, and she looks pretty damn good. So we got Sister Paquita Baby next week, and then after her is, pardon me while I find the cards, Sister Cha Cha Silencia is the next one up. So thank you for joining me for another week, and I will see you next week. Bye. Hey Brush Monkeys, Tom from Flying Monkey Studios here. If you like what you see, click like down below. If you want to be notified when new videos come out, click subscribe. Both of those help me with my YouTube numbers and help support me doing and what I do best. Speaking of which, if you want to support me more directly, you can visit my Patreon site and go on my Instagram page to see all the miniatures that I paint on this site and how to get your hands on one of your own if you want one. We're also on Facebook and Twitter. You can check both of those to see when new videos get posted. And visit my merch store at storefrontier.com/flyingmonkeystudios. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I will see you later. Bye.